Either way, if you're sitting in the chair, make sure you sit up nice and tall with a long spine, or sitting the same way on the floor, or you can lie on the floor, just allowing yourself to settle in. Relax your shoulders down a little bit. And close your eyes to the room if that's comfortable. If you don't feel safe or comfortable closing your eyes, you can always just find a little spot on the floor to focus your eyes. And then give yourself permission to be present right here, right now. Let's take just a moment to notice how your body feels. Any sore places or stiffness, pain. Just notice it, no judgment, no criticism. And then begin to focus on your breath. Just noticing what your breath is doing right now. As those thoughts come into your head this morning, just notice what has your attention. And then kindly, gently let that go. And go back to watching your breath. The whole purpose of asana practice, the practice of poses, is not to quit thinking or getting stronger, although you will, but it's just to connect your body and your mind and your breath so that we go inward. We check on ourselves on the inside. So we're going to start with a little even breathing. Breathing in to a count of 4, breathing out to a count of 4. So we will begin, inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. You can do this on your own for just a couple of minutes. And then you can take your awareness away from your breath, just breathing your own sweet breath. One more time, a little check of the body. And then maybe set an intention today or a word for the day. Good. Slowly open your eyes if you have them closed. And let's start out with a nice long stretch, lengthening out through your legs and lengthening out through your arms. Stretch and move. And if you haven't done this yet today, now's the time. I have not. So, big stretches. Good. And then release that back down beside your body. Inhale, and as you exhale, pull the belly in. You can do this on the floor or in the chair, either one. As you inhale, release it. As you exhale, pull the belly in. As you inhale, release it. Releasing a little bit of tension from that low back. If you're sitting in a chair for long periods of time in front of the computer or in front of your TV or whatever, it's good to release some tension from your whole body. Get up and move around. One more time. Release it. I know I didn't say this, but if you're on the floor, go ahead and bend your knees and place your feet on the floor so that your knees are bent. And let's go to the upper body. Inhale and take both arms up and back, best you can. And exhale down beside your body. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Couple more. Good. And then release it all the way back down beside your body. Pull one knee into your chest. I almost always start with your right, but you can start with whichever one feels better to you. Pull it into your chest, and then let's begin to circle that knee in the hip joint. Little range of motion for that hip. Take that the other direction. And then release that foot down to the floor, or take the other knee into your chest. Pull it in there, and then begin to circle it in your hip joint. Take that the other direction. Good, and then release it back down to the floor. Pull the first knee back in and then lengthen out through the leg, whether it's up or out. Does not matter how far. We're thinking about pushing through the heel and flexing the toes back. Spread your toes. Curl your toes and wiggle your toes around. Give your feet a little love today. This may be the only time you don't have shoes on today. Begin to point and flex your foot. Pop, crack. That was me cracking. Circle your ankle. Take that the other direction. Good. Bend at the knee and bring this ankle over the other knee or the other thigh or the other ankle, whatever feels right to you, and maybe push on that thigh a little bit to bring it on alignment. Flexing the toes back, sit up nice and tall, Alberta. I like to lay back here in my chair. If you want, if you're laying on the floor, and if you want to, you can pull that opposite knee in, wrapping your hands around the thigh for a little more stretch, or you can stay right here. Go ahead and release it down. And just take just a second here just to notice how it feels, one compared to the other. And then lengthen out through the other leg, pushing through the heel, flexing those toes back. So you get a little stretch in your hamstring. And begin to point and flex. Pop. Circle the ankle. And then take that the other direction. Stop here, pause here, spread the toes. Curl the toes and wave at me with your toes. Good. Bend at the knee and place this ankle across the other knee or the other thigh. Can press down through the thigh and even it out. Flexing the toes back. Might even want to give yourself a little love, give yourself a little foot massage. There you go. Good, and release it down. And let's do one more for the legs. Go ahead and pick up your strap, your tie, whatever you might happen to have. Or if you don't have anything, you can just use your hand. I have this lovely blue tie today. It's from my fashion statement. Yeah, it matches the room. I thought it matched my jeans. Strap the instep of your right foot and lengthen out through that leg. It does match the room. Push through the heel, flexing those toes back. So even if you have your leg pretty close to the floor, if you're sitting up closer to the front of your chair, you'll feel it more. And press down into your other foot. And even if you're lying on the floor and you have your foot on the opposite foot on the floor, go ahead and press into that foot. Keep it active. Yeah. Take both sides of your strap, your tie, whatever you have. Let's take it out to the side and stretch through that inner thigh a little bit. And back across your body. Switch the hand, stretching through the outer thigh, that IT band a little bit. Almost everybody has a really tight IT band. Good, and back to the center. Split your tie, one in one hand, one in the other, and begin to bend and straighten your leg. So you get a little movement in that knee joint. And then go ahead and release it all the way down to the floor and switch legs. Strapping the instep of your other foot, Pushing through the heel, flexing your toes back, sitting up nice and tall, pressing down through the sit bones, and then pressing down through your opposite foot. Make sure you're breathing. Take both sides of the tie into that same hand, and let's take it out to the side, stretching through the inner thigh. And take it across your body, switch the hand. Good, back to the center, split the tie. Bend and straighten. Most of you that have been with me for a while could probably teach this yourself. So you can have your own Zoom class. Just make sure you invite me. At least for the warm up, we do the same thing just about every time. And release it down. Good. If you're on the floor, you can go ahead and roll over to your side and come and find a seat. You can either sit on the floor or you can sit up in your chair, whichever makes you more comfortable today. Sitting up in your seat or your chair, if you're sitting on the floor, make sure you have something under your hips so that you're level, your knees are not up higher than your hips. That's not comfortable. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart, prayer position. From here, take both hands to the left as you turn your head to the right. And pause, breathe. See if you can keep your head level without taking it back or taking it forward. Bring that back to center. Now let's go the other direction. Take both hands and look the opposite direction. And just notice what you feel. As always, if there's any pain involved, please back off or just don't do it. Find a way to modify anything that we're doing. Back to center. Release your hands down. Sitting up nice and tall, turn your palms out. And then inhale, take your arms up. And exhale down. Urdhva Hastalola. If that's too much at any time, let it go. Good. And then release it all the way down. If you're sitting in the chair, hold on to your chair. If you're sitting on the floor, maybe place a hand on the floor beside you. Inhale, take the opposite arm up towards the ceiling and lengthen out the best you can. See how long you can make that arm. With the long arm, just take it over a little bit, lengthening through the side body. So we're not scrunching way over here. We're just up and just over a little. Now turn your palm towards the ceiling. And then release it all the way down. And let's roll that shoulder up, back, down, and around a couple of times. And then switch to the other side. Either place your hand on the floor if you're sitting on the floor, or place your hand on the chair. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale again and bring the opposite arm best you can. This is my little crooked arm. Sitting up nice and tall. It's just a slight bend over. Stretching through the side body. And back. Release it all the way down. Roll out the shoulder. Up, back, down and around. Good, and release it. And shake it out. Sitting up nice and tall again, turn, look over one shoulder. A little bit of release for the neck. Pause there when you get as far as you can go comfortably. Keyword is comfortably. And then all the way over to the other side and pause. And back and forth. Back to center, and then take your chin down. Just let your head fall heavy, stretching through the back of the neck. Bring it back up to center and begin to draw little circles with your nose. You might hear some crinkles or some pops, and that's fine as long as it's not painful. Pretty normal. Take it the other direction. Good, and then bring this back to stillness. And one more time, take ear towards shoulder, stretching through the side of the neck, easy, easy. Up and over to the other side, hold it. And back to center, good. If you're on the floor, sitting on the floor, go ahead and come to hands and knees. And if you're sitting in the chair, just come to sit up a little bit more to the front of your chair, just so you can have a nice long spine. We're going to do some cat and cows, flexion and extension of the spine. So I think most people know how to do these, but if you're on the floor, make sure that your hands are just a little bit in front of the shoulders and your knees are just slightly behind your hips. That makes it a little bit nicer for wrist. And if you're sitting in the chair, your hands can be comfortably on your knees or your thighs. And take a nice inhale first, pulling the shoulders back, looking up towards the far corner of the room maybe. And then as you exhale, pull the belly in, round the back, and tuck your head down. So here's your cat. for all you cat people. And inhale, take it up. We'll call this dog. Woof, woof. For all of us dog people. Back and forth. Inhale and exhale. Use your breath. Close your eyes. Take the vision even out of it so you can really feel what your spine is doing. It might tell you to move a little bit differently. Getting into the side bodies or the neck more or the low back more. Your practice, do what feels good to you. Next time you're at tabletop or in the center, just pause here. And then take your feet, both feet, to the left. Turn and look to the right. You can do this whether you're on the floor or in the chair. Back to the center and take it the other direction. Feet to the right and look to the left. And back to center. And for those of you on the floor, go ahead and come to a standing position. If you're sitting in the chair, you can come to a standing position too if your body says okay. If it doesn't, just stay in your chair. Either way, you can have your chair really handy so you feel safe. And we're going to come just to mountain pose. Mountain pose is about 2 fist widths apart between your feet with your knees pointed straight ahead. If you look down at your toes may not be pointed straight ahead. They may be off a little wonky, but that's okay. We're thinking about knees straight ahead. From here, lift all 10 toes and then set your toes back down and put weight especially on the mound of the big toe and the mound of the little toe. And then lift your heels and set those back down. So your feet should feel like they're totally supported. They should feel as long and as wide as they can be, just like the base of a mountain. Put a little tiny bend in the knees. Lift the rib cage, like putting a little space in between your hips and your rib cage. Chin pulled in slightly, and then arms beside your body, wherever they're comfortable. Good. Close your eyes if you're comfortable here. And then open your eyes and let's take both shoulders straight up to the ears. Really shrug your shoulders and then release them down. Just one big release. Do that again. Take your shoulders up and release them down. Good. And then roll your shoulders from here. Really get back there into those shoulder blades. See if you've got any little crunchy stuff in your shoulder blades. Take it the other direction. Good. And then release it. Shake it out. Hold on to your chair with one hand and press down into one standing foot. Sorry. Come up to your toes and turn your knee out for tree pose. You can always hold on to your chair, or you can bring your hands out, or you can bring them to prayer pose, namaste, or you can even take them up, whatever is comfortable for you. You can challenge yourself by placing that foot on your calf. Or some people even put it on their thigh or across their thigh. Wherever you feel safe. Good, release it down. Wiggle it out. And then turn, I'll turn my chair this way. Turn towards the chair. Hold on to the back of your chair if you want. And then lift your heels. Release your heels. Lift your heels. Release your heels. Again. For those of you feeling a little more daring, as you lift your heels, bring your arms up. As you lower your heels, bring your arms down. See if you can do this with breath. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Don't fall. I can't pick you up. Good. And release it down. Wiggle it out. We're going to do a little balance pose. It's called Sunbird. Some of you may have done it before. We're going to step back with the right foot, toes on the ground. And then take your left arm long up by your ear. Engage your core and see if you can soften your shoulders a little bit and release your jaw. Step forward and then change sides. So the left toes are back, the right arm is up long. And this can also be done sitting in the chair, just by stepping your foot forward and then back. Release it down. Go back to the first side, step your foot back, take your arm up, and see if you can lift that back foot. Lift it and lower. Lift it and lower. You're still just on your toe, lifting, lowering. You're really engaging that glute. And if you're in the chair, you can just slide your foot forward, lift it, and lower it. One more time. And release it down. Wiggle that out. Switch to the other side. Take your toes back. Take your opposite arm up by your ear. Just breathe here. And release it. And then once again, take your toes back, same foot, arm up, and then maybe you can lift the toes and lower. It's always good to hold on to your chair, but you don't have to. Working on a little bit of balance. You'll still probably want a little bit of a bend in that standing leg. Good. And then release it down. Wiggle it out. Switch to the other side. We haven't done our tree on this side yet. So pressing down through your standing foot, back into your mountain pose. Take your toes up on the opposite foot, turn the knee out. Breathe. And then if you want, you can take your hands off, or you can hold on to your chair, whichever feels more comfortable, more safe for you this morning. And then maybe pick up your foot and place it on your calf. Good. Release it down. Wiggle it out. We're going to do a little warrior. This can be done on your mat. Most of you know warrior on your mat, so we'll just do a quick warrior on your mat just to show you. Your front foot is at 90, back foot turns in about a third of the way or lines up with the back of your mat. The front knee is bent and your arms are long from your shoulders. You're looking out over the front ring finger. If you want to sit in the chair, this right leg is straight ahead, back foot is out behind you with toes turned in. And again, arms long. Make sure you're breathing. And let's come in and out. So inhale, straighten your leg, take your arms up, and exhale down. Inhale up, and exhale down. Inhale up, and exhale down. One more time. Inhale up, exhale down, and bring your feet back together. And let's just circle the hips. If you're in the chair, you can make some circles. If you're standing, just circle your hips around like you got a hula hoop on. Take that the other direction. It is so good just to move your body. So whether you're doing yoga or anything else, maybe you're dancing or you're doing Tai Chi, whatever, keep moving your body. It's good for you and it's good for your mind. Okay, we're going to go back and do Warrior 2 on the other side. So if you're in the chair, first foot is to the side, back foot is behind you. You can have it just a little bit behind you with both knees bent, or you can lengthen out through this back foot for a little more stretch. And I like to do circle the arms to come into my warrior, looking out over that front ring finger. And then we're going to come in and out. So inhale, arms up, exhale, back. Inhale up, exhale. You're straightening your leg and bending your leg if you're standing. If you're in the chair, you're just so doing the same thing. You're bending and straightening the leg. Or make up your own variation. One more time. Good. And bring your feet back together. Once again, circle your hips, dance around, get some movement in your body. And let's stretch out those legs. So if you're standing, with the front knee bent, step back with the other leg. Your front toes are straight ahead. Your back foot is just about a third of the way. It's almost like the same Warrior 2, except the legs are a lot closer together. You're on railroad tracks, not a balance beam. So your legs are apart. You can hold on to your chair. You can put your hands on your waist. You can bring your arms up like Warrior 1. Breathe. All the warrior poses are for strength. Good. Step forward and switch sides. Front knee is bent. Step back with your other foot. And then again, you can have your hands on the chair, your hands on your hips, or you can take your arms up or take them to beach ball, whatever you feel like is your choice today. Good. Step it forward and release it. And then have a seat either back on the floor. Oh, before you have a seat on the floor, don't sit on the floor yet. Let's do a little forward fold. Yeah. So if you're still standing, hold on to your chair, take your feet a little bit wider apart. We have to have a little forward bend. So bring your knees a little bit bent, a little bit. Inhale, lengthen through your spine, turn your sit bones up, and bring your head down a little. It can be a little bit or it can be a lot. Maybe you want to take your hands down to the chair seat. Let your spine release. This is a good spine releaser. It's a good stress releaser. If you have your hands down, you can clasp your elbows. And breathe, and breathe, and breathe. Again, you can do some movements with this if it feels good to you. And then putting bends in your knees, wherever you have your hands. If you have them on the chair, you can go ahead and walk up the chair, or you can bring your hands to your hips. Long spine, all the way up. Good. And now have a seat back on the floor or in your chair. Starting in staff pose with both legs long if you're on the floor. If you're in the chair, both legs long. And in your chair, I find that I'm sliding, so you might want to hold onto your chair a little bit. Flex your toes back. Pull your shoulder blades together. Good. With a long spine, bring your hands to your hip creases. That's right where your hips join your legs. Long spine, bend forward. You're not going to go very far, maybe even a quarter of an inch. It's lengthening out through the spine, lengthening out through the legs. If this is not comfortable with your legs straight while you're sitting on the floor, you can go ahead and put some bend in the knees. Breathe. Inhale, come up. If you're in the chair, go ahead and put your hands back on the chair. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, fold forward. And this time you can round your spine a little. Make sure you keep breathing all through this. Inhale, come all the way up. And then bend one knee and bring it up closer to you or up closer. Bend it and bring it next to your thigh if you're sitting on the floor. Mm-hmm. If you're in the chair, just take your knee out, maybe bringing the foot closer to your calf. Sit up nice and tall. With one hand behind you, the same hand that where you have the bent leg, bring it behind you. Other hand comes across to your knee or your thigh, lengthen, and then exhale, twist. Inhale, breathe. Exhale, twist. Don't force it though. Don't ever force anything. Inhale, and then exhale back to center. Good, you look good. And then switch sides. If you're sitting, you're going to have that foot up next to your thigh or your knee. If you're sitting in the chair, it's going to be closer to your calf, and the knee turns out. Arm behind you, other hand will come across. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. And then all the way back to center. And one last little pose while you're sitting. Bring your feet together, let your knees drop out. Whether you're sitting in the chair or sitting on the floor, bring your hands behind you, lift your heart, bring those shoulder blades closer to one another, putting the tip of the right shoulder blade in your left pocket and the tip of your left shoulder blade in your right pocket. And maybe taking your chin up towards the sky, little back bend. Back bends are really good for depression or just sadness when you have the blues. Good, and then bring it all the way up. And go ahead and lie back on the floor. You can pull both knees back into your chest if you want to, or find a way to be really comfortable for Shavasana. Shavasana is our resting pose. It's the way our body integrates the things that we've been doing this morning. Your body and your mind and your breath. Allowing yourself to get and be as comfortable as you can be. Softening your belly. Relaxing your shoulders. Releasing all the tension in your face. Around your eyes and across your cheeks. Relax your jaw by putting a little space in between your teeth. Letting the tongue move from the roof of the mouth to the floor of the mouth or wherever it's comfortable in the mouth. Allowing your whole body to feel supported by the chair or the floor, as though you're weightless. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Relax your breath. Bring your awareness back to your breath and begin to deepen your breaths. Begin to make little movements with your fingers, your toes. For those of you on the floor, when you feel ready, bend one knee at a time and roll to your side. It can be either side. Staying with your eyes closed, staying inside your body. And then carefully push your way up to a comfortable seated position. Go ahead and reclose your eyes if you've opened them. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Bow your head slightly. Offering yourself a little bit of gratitude for taking the time, making the effort to give yourself the gift of yoga. I thank each one for coming today. It is always a pleasure to be a part of your life, and I'm so grateful for that. Namaste. When it gets warm, I'm no longer going to be the car hop, though. We will be going outside, but not today. Not today. You can unmute yourselves if you want to.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Thanks.
It's great.
Roberta.
Thanks, Alberta.
You're welcome.
Are you at the library?
I am.
Okay.
I am in the teen zone. Don't I look like a teen?
Right one.
Thank you, Alberta.
You're welcome.
Good to see you. Good to see everyone.
It is good to see everyone. It's nice to see faces, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye. Stay safe.
Okay, you too.
All right.
Bye, sis. Thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't get to see Louie.
Well, I keep waiting for her to come around here, but she's just tearing around everywhere. See if I can find her.
You have kitties too, don't you, Sharon?
Yes, they're downstairs.
They're downstairs. Okay.
Yeah.
Not allowed in the yoga room.
You see her?
No pet dander in the yoga room.
Yes. Okay.
Can you see her? Alberta, you see
I
her?
see her.
Yeah. Oh, there she is. Okay. I see her. Yeah. Pretty kitty. She's really growing.
Yeah. I think she's about doubled in size. And,
I think so.
yeah, she's big. She's having fun this morning playing with a mouse, you know, a toy mouse.
Oh, yeah.
She's pretty.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, guys. Be safe.
Take care. You too.